I've got a skunk I'm going to mount up here. So the first step is to skin it. Obviously, when you're dealing with a skunk, the smell is sort of a concern. So as long as you go fairly slow and gentle around the back end of it, you usually don't have too many problems. For most animals that I taxidermy, I like to do what's called case skinning, where you make a cut along the back legs and then skin the animal out, and then the hide ends up as kind of a tube. I like this because it involves a lot less sewing in the end, and then you don't have as many stitches you have to hide. So at this point I've got the hide loosened up around both the rear legs, and now cutting the leg off of the main part of the body. The reason I'm doing that is later on when I'm making the form for this skunk, I'm going to need those legs to model the form off of. So I like to attach them or just keep them attached to that hide while I'm skinning it, and that way I have them later on during the next steps after I'm done the skinning. This is the part of the skinning process in a skunk where you have to be very, very careful. You don't want to nick those scent glands because that can be quite stinky, and you don't want to put too much pressure because that can also release them. So you just got to be gentle with it and be very careful with where you're making your cuts. It's very important when you're skinning anything that you get that tailbone out of there. Again, with the skunk, it's a little more difficult because you don't want to put too much pressure on the main body while you're pulling that tailbone out, so you don't release those scent glands. But if you use a tail stripper, it usually pulls pretty easy. Now that I got the hide loosened off the front legs, I'm going to cut them off the main body the same as I did with the back legs, just so I can keep them to make sure I can use them as a reference when I'm making the form later. Very important once you get to the head of any animal that you take your time with it. Make sure when you're cutting the ears, you cut that ear cartilage off properly, close to the skull, so you don't end up with too big of a opening you have to try and repair. Same with the eyes, you want to make sure you don't open those up any bigger than they are naturally, because it's just going to cause you a bunch of headaches down the road that you're going to have to fix. Once you get past the eyes, then you find the mouth opening. Just keep working at that. Make sure you don't cut any of the lips off. And just work your way all the way down to the end of the nose, making sure you keep the nose cartilage. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2.